Welcome back. This and That with Mitch and Matt, Season 2, Episode 8. Again, boys, it's just us tonight. We had a good episode last week with prepper survivalist JFO, and thought maybe we need a little break tonight and go back to just humble beginnings.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
I had a good episode. I enjoyed the episode last week. It was nice to have him on. I've took a little bit of what he said, and I picked up a few more things, a few more little items, put in my bag, and feel like I'm, now ready for 2 to 3 days of maybe slight darkness. I could probably survive.
I made sure I had a medical bag put in my truck. It's actually the one that you gave me. It's got like gauze and I got a tourniquet in there because that's a must. I mean,
I know you're all about tourniquets. I realized that.
A lot of guys will like tape them to their sling on their rifle.
Yeah,
that way it's right there.
I haven't done anything.
I mean, I don't anticipate being in any kind of combat scenario anytime soon where I need that, but I guess that's when that happens, is when you don't think you'll be there. So,
right.
But speaking of like situations you don't think you'll be in, for the last 2 days, I have been watching a documentary called Free Solo. The gentleman's name is Alex Honnold, I think's his name.
Mm-hmm.
And he literally climbs rock faces with just feet and hands with no rope attached whatsoever. He's the only person to climb. I mean, I may be getting my facts wrong, but I believe he's the only person to free solo Yosemite's El Capitan, or whatever you want to say it. Well, just if you're cool, you just call it El Cap. But it's like 3,500 feet or something, and this dude literally just spent like years just preparing to climb this rock, and he does it literally with just hands and feet, man. And like, if you get a chance to watch the documentary, please do, because it's nerve wracking just to be sitting on I'm just fat with foot drop, sitting on my couch, eating my burger from Sonic, and I still get freaked out a little bit.
You finally got that, didn't you?
Yeah, I figured that out.
Your wife, I feel like, he's late. We're still waiting on Sonic.
Dude, but we went to Sonic before this and was there for like 30 minutes, man. And the lady came out and she was like, "I'm sorry, it's check day." And I was so confused on what that. I don't know, man. I was like, "What does that mean?" Like, you get your check? Like, did you just everybody get their check and y'all buy a bunch of fucking like Hennessy and everybody's in there fucked up? What happened? Like, why did my food take 30 minutes?
Like, sorry, we got paid today. Fuck you.
Right.
That, or they could have got their first of the month check early. And because
the first is on Saturday, yeah.
It's the first.
Yeah. So,
but who?
They could have got their first of the month check a day early, because at Dairy Queen, when I worked there, first of the month, dude, everybody swarmed.
Yeah.
Dairy Queen.
Okay. So we got money.
Let's go eat.
Yeah.
You mean other people, not the employees.
Yes.
You ever go to Walmart on check day?
Right. But the way Matt said that was like they got their checks. I just pictured all the workers inside like Sonic just like racking off dollars, and they're like, "Fuck that food. Fuck them kids."
No, that's funny. But yeah, I mean, so the first is on a Saturday, which means that people probably get paid on Friday. Yeah. But like today and then the next 10 days, as people get their food stamps, places are going to be fucking lit. Like, it's going to be crazy.
Live tonight, boys. And then if you catch the pawn shops on the 13th of the month, you can get some damn good deals on all kinds of shit.
Yeah.
Everybody's taking them back because they need that money.
But no, I mean, with the rock climbing, it's a funny story. When I was a teenager, my mom went to work in Denver with this guy named Sean. And he was a professional rock climber, and he trained this climber. She was a free climber. Her name's Katie Brown.
Mm-hmm.
She actually competed like in the X Games. Now
nice.
He didn't do free climbing, but he took me out in Denver, like up on the mountains, and taught me how to rock climb.
That's cool.
And we went to like REI and would train on the rock walls and stuff. That shit's hard, man. Like it's real difficult. Like, I had all the harnesses and belay people that were there to like keep me up, and it was still really difficult. It wasn't an easy time.
So you think about that, about how hard that is. And this cat does it with none of that stuff. And literally just every step, man, has to be just perfect or he dies. Like there's nothing. That's it. Like there's no like he falls to a net. Oh, somebody swoops down, fucking Falcon and Winter Soldier swoop down to catch him. Nope, none of that shit. He falls to his death. Like that's it, man.
Yeah.
And this
it's
like
freaky,
so they just
man.
did an MRI of him, and I don't remember what it's called, but the part of your brain that harnesses like fear, it starts with an A. I don't know. I'm not smart enough to remember it from there to here. His doesn't react like normal folks. Like it doesn't have any spark. Like it's not doing anything. It takes such a high level of fear to freak him out, dude.
Yeah.
So he's just like this 120-pound badass that just fucking climbs rocks, man.
It could be because he's done that so much, right? It's like the people like thrill seekers, like they don't get excited by everyday kind of life type shit. They have to go jump out planes.
Yeah. And it could be, man. I mean, whatever the reason is, that rock he climbed, man, or that part of Yosemite had been climbed by so many people with rope that it, nobody had ever free soloed it. And he just is like, I'm going to do it. And dude, he does it. And it just blows my mind to think this guy what do you think when I'm handicapped. If I get up on like the third step on my porch and look over to the side, I freak out a little bit thinking I may tumble over in the weeds. This guy's like, I don't have a problem with heights. I'm just handicapped. I have no, this isn't a sport for foot drop. Like, promise.
Right. Have you ever seen them go on those long climbs and fucking sleep on those 2 foot wide ledges on the side of the mountain?
In a little tent they'll fucking put up and they'll eat and sleep there, man.
They latch themselves to the wall.
Kind of like Everest. It's like a day's, multiple days journey. Like you would hike up it, then you'd set up camp, and then you'd wake up the next morning and go as far as you can, then set up camp. Then the next day, it was just.
It's kind of like that. But what they do is they're like vertical climbs. So you'll have a rock wall, and then there's a little bitty ledge that kind of pokes out from the rock wall. And they literally connect themselves to the wall and lay down on that tiny little ledge and sleep overnight.
Oh, screw that, man.
So what I was seeing where they were
your leg cramp, you die.
They were hooking into the rock, and they were basically sleeping in a tent that was just hanging on the side of the wall, like flat, just hanging in midair.
I've seen that too, kind of like a wall hammock or something.
Yeah, and they sleep if it was us sleeping in there, we would sleep head to feet, so the naughty parts couldn't lock in, and we just hang out, man. And they make food, they sleep, they clean up there, and then they get out. They hook themselves to the wall. They have to pack all their shit up. You imagine that, dude? Half the time I don't even make my fucking bed at the house.
Yeah,
these guys have to get out at 2,000 feet, hook themselves to a fucking wall, pack all their shit up, and then continue to climb. The ambition these guys have makes me feel like such just a piece of shit.
I'll tell you something else.
There's nothing else to say.
When I went to Colorado, it was the peak of when I was skating. And just in Denver, when I got off the plane, I jogged for about 5 seconds and felt like I was going to die.
Yeah.
And the further you go up in the mountains, the worse it gets. So it's a different kind of thing.
It's kind of the way the Broncos, they always have that awesome home field advantage because no one else is used to that altitude. They can go out there and run circles around that, and all these other teams are like.
Well, plus if they go to Baltimore, they're basically like Superman, right? They're not in that high altitude anymore, and they're we go all day, baby.
Yeah.
So tell me, y'all were talking about this before, but when I was trying to learn how to be a free solo climber, you guys were giving me a little bit of a spill about some UFO shit that's maybe new developments that I haven't heard about.
Oh, yeah.
So from what I understand, the government released some videos and said this is real shit.
Yeah.
It was captured by with a naval destroyer, like one of their ships.
There was some by that, and then there was some by an airplane or near Australia.
Yeah.
Recent videos or these videos of the past?
I don't know how recent they are.
Okay.
Within like the last year or two, I believe, but they're just now coming out. The wildest one I'd seen was the UFO that was shaped like a upside down pyramid. It was like just weird looking pyramid, just floating in air but moving it. Right. Yeah, it was like a triangle, and it was so wild. I mean, and then I got to thinking that exact same pyramid is on our money. Was there an earlier sighting that possibly inspired the Masonic all-seeing eye? Like, did they happen to see one back then and,
maybe
get inspired, made that their... But that's a conspiracy theory I just came up with. But
you guys watch Gravity Falls?
No.
I have not. I've heard it was good, and I should watch it. But
maybe it's Bill. Bill's like this all-seeing eye pyramid evil bastard that tries to take over the world. But anyway.
Oh, dude, I did see that. Yes, I did see that. You can watch it.
The video. The video from the naval destroyer, it was like a triangle that was kind of just flying around, and it was blinking. It looked like, which was a little odd. Yeah. The one from the plane, it was some military plane near Australia, was a little bit different. It was also kind of like a triangle, but it looked metallic, and it was just kind of staying stationary in high winds, which is why they noticed it. It was just kind of hanging out there.
Yeah.
And it just looked like a big metal triangle up in the sky. And I don't know, those are weird. It's hard to say what they are. So aliens, I'm sure, exist somewhere. I don't know if they've ever been to Earth or not, but I think it's naive to say that they don't exist. I mean, there's infinite fucking planets out there. It happened here. It's probably going to happen somewhere else, right?
Right.
Right.
But UFOs.
Technology that would have.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead. The technology that went into these UFOs, I mean, the way that they're thinking that they're moving around is like gravity disbursement, like or dispelling gravity around them, like able to manipulate it so they can move at like crazy speeds and in any direction possible. Like, humans don't have that technology. We have not figured that out. I mean, we know that it exists, and that it
maybe
could possibly exist. In theory, we know it's possible, but we don't have a way to do it. And
we don't.
Some of these that would drop.
We don't know 100% that we don't know how to do it. I mean, humans could have it. That doesn't. Also, the thing is, for the military to release something and say this is verified doesn't mean that they don't know what it is, right? There's like, this is a thing.
It just means the tape's real. That's all they're saying, really. They're not saying it's us. It's not saying it's an enemy. Not saying it's aliens. It's like, that's a real tape.
and the thing about that is, I think if aliens would have made contact or been here, we probably would know by now. So I think UFOs are real, but I'm not convinced that they're aliens. I think it's probably something from Earth that somebody doesn't want people to know about, or something along those lines.
Man, like a mad scientist that came up with the answer but just isn't sharing it with anyone.
Or just the government, because like they're not going to tell people shit. You know what I mean?
Hopefully it's our government, because if it's not us and it's like a competitor like Russia or China, we might be a little bit fucked if they got that technology and we don't.
Well, I don't think so much Russia when I think of that, right? Like when I think of that kind of technology, I think Japanese. I think Japan or China is probably the main two.
Yeah. Fingers crossed for Japan. Fingers crossed for Japan. They're friendly now. They weren't in World War II, but they are now. They got McDonald's, so they're cool.
What are your beliefs on aliens and that whole, like, so y'all Have you all seen is it Bob Lazar? Is that his name?
Lazar.
Bob Lazar. The documentary on Netflix about him who supposedly seen some things.
Is that the crazy guy with the high hair?
No, you're talking about the guy that's on like ancient aliens or some shit. That guy's actually a meth head from Boyd County, I think. They just found him and brought him in. No.
Yeah, Bob Lazar looks like some guy at Geek Squad that's going to like fix your computer.
Mm.
Supposedly he got a job at like doing something at Area 51. And within like a couple weeks, they had him signing some papers that whatever he seen, he wouldn't tell. And he seen some shit. And I guess like he was telling people about it and nobody believed him. And now it came out that like he drew a picture of like this hand scanner that he had to use. And everybody's like, that's bullshit. That doesn't exist. That technology doesn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
And like they pulled out the paper for this documentary he drew back in like the 70s or some shit, the 80s. And now they're like, oh, yeah, that's a thing we had. Like we had that.
Yeah.
And like he got like a degree at a university. I don't know all the facts, so please don't ridicule the shit out of me, dickheads. But he went to university and he got a fucking degree and took classes, and like he has that shit saying he done that, but they call the university and they're like, no, he never went here. But yet he has all the work where he was there. It was like he's being blackballed. Employers that he worked for and was paid for, like with pay stubs, are saying he never worked here.
Yeah.
So it's like he's being blackballed. So he knew some shit. And he did some interviews.
They forgot to scrub the yearbook photos.
No.
Yeah.
They was like, he wasn't on the roster anymore, but he still had a yearbook photos that he was there.
Yeah.
Should have just killed him.
Right. I mean, so what are you hiding like that? You know, I mean, I don't know, man. I'm not saying it's like Independence Day aliens or like Mars Attacks aliens, but it may be like dudes like us, like just trying to find out what the fuck's going on. But I feel like something maybe has been here.
It doesn't even necessarily have to be aliens, right? There was this girl on TikTok, the Mitch and Matt, by the way.
There you go. Slide it in there.
Yeah.
So there was this girl. She was talking to her dad, who was a CIA agent. She asked him a bunch of questions, and she's asked him about Area 51 quite a bit. And he stays pretty persistent that it's just a government research facility where they make new shit. It's like the SR-71, I believe, was worked on there. Mm-hmm. So I mean, they could have had like the hand scanners and a bunch of advanced technology that nobody's seen yet, and they would probably want to keep that a secret, especially with spies from other countries. Like we're always in a race, like we're always in a tech race with the military and other countries, and especially with weapon systems. So I mean, there could be anything there.
You're not wrong. I mean, I don't know. It's a fun thing to think about. Like, everybody's got their own theories. Everybody's got this to think about. And, you know, I don't know. Maybe we'll find out one day. But I do think there's too much evidence now of, like, UFOs that, like, something, if it's not just the government's testing out new things, like, that's what I always go with. Like, it's probably some kind of government, like, test.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess my issue with that is it just them hiding it? The reason they won't come out and say, oh, that was a government test, that was us.
Yeah. I mean, if they were hiding it, it would be like the best kept secret on Earth. I think a lot of them are just as surprised as we are. I mean, there was a UFO task force set up like a subcommittee in the Senate or the House, one or the other. Senate. It was back when Harry Reid was the minority leader, I believe, or majority leader? Minority leader, I believe. And oddly enough, that's who Tom DeLonge had contact with. A lot of this came to light whenever, what was that? WikiLeaks guy. Anyways, the guy from WikiLeaks leaked
Julian Assange?
Yes. Whenever all that happened with WikiLeaks, like leaking Hillary Clinton's emails, and a lot of that happened with that Harry Reid John Podesta. His emails got leaked as well, and it showed communication between him and Tom DeLonge about the whole UFOs coming out and all that. And so that's one of the reasons all this came to light, because there really wasn't any hiding it anymore.
Yeah.
And it's just wild. I mean,
I don't think he's involved with. I don't think he's involved with all that anymore, right?
He runs To the Stars Academy,
right? But he's not connected to the government like he used to be. But something happened. He's not anymore.
He's his own academy, does its own private research now. Like, he'll cooperate with the government on whether or not they are able to release certain things.
Yeah.
But he, like, To the Stars Academy is like his like pride and joy, basically. That's his main focus. He ain't really working hand in hand with government agencies. It was just, he was working with them when they were trying to find a way to bring it out to the public without setting off like a big giant panic.
So on aliens and shit, we talk about kind of the paranormal in general. Do you guys believe in ghosts?
No. I want to.
No.
I don't either.
But you can't tell me that. My questions are, why in all the years we've never just got a glimpse of one, and why is every motherfucking ghost from the 1800s? Right. I've yet to see like somebody from 1986 with like a comb over and some fucking flannel on show up at my house. Yeah. Like, I want to believe in them, but I just don't. I can't.
Hear about Tupac sightings quite a bit.
Yeah, it's a little different, you know. A little different. Like, yeah, where's that at? Why ain't Tupac ever show up at my house and be like, boogity boo? Like, never happens. Like, nothing like that ever goes down.
Yeah.
I love the thought. I love the idea of being scared and ghost and this and that. But no, I can't, man. It just doesn't make any fucking sense.
Caitlin sent me this TikTok. There was this girl in Australia. She, I guess, had made a few videos on TikTok and then didn't make any more, but they were just kind of like regular vlog videos, and she was filming herself, and then behind her was her closet, and there was somebody who grabbed the video and like screenshotted it when she was filming, and you could see like eyes and teeth in her closet. It was like, you know, like somebody smiling. And Caitlin was like, look, that's a fucking ghost. I was like, no, that's a fucking dude in the closet. The closet's just dark. Like,
it's super dark. You can't see him.
Like, that's obviously not a ghost.
Not what that is. Just smile for the camera. See, he's fine. Everything's good.
It's like, what? It's just, I
would love it, man. I would love ghosts to be real. Would love some creepy shit to happen, but it don't, man. It's like, what was her name out at the hotel in California or whatever?
The Asian girl.
Oh, yeah, man. I mean, yeah, like she acted real fucked up, but it's not because it was a ghost. Like, that crazy girl just quit taking her meds, I think, and climbed in a fucking water tower. I mean, it doesn't make sense.
No.
But I'm sure a lot of shit didn't make sense in her life at the time. So I feel really bad for her and her family and what happened. But I don't think it was supernatural. I think it was just a lack of meds and a mental health issue, you know?
Yeah. And I mean, here's the thing. If that stuff was real, like, you have people, they go and take tours and stay the night at, what's the place in Louisville called?
Waverly Hills.
Is it Waverly Hills? Yeah. So they go and like take tours and stay the night there and shit. And like, if that place was really that haunted, like, it's supposed to be the most haunted place in America. If it was really that bad, motherfuckers wouldn't be staying the night there and taking tours and shit.
Right.
Nah. The funny story about that, I was down in Louisville one night. I actually got off the Waverly exit.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know anything about this place at the time. I was went to a friend's house, and I was hanging out in their living room, and they had on like, you seen those TV shows that show like the haunted places and all that, and this one was talking about the Waverly Hills Sanatorium, and it it like showed like a picture of it from like far away, not real far away, but you know, like a full picture of the place. Talked about Louisville, Kentucky. I'm like, man, that place is creepy. And then I walk out on the porch and look like over across in the hills, and there it was. I looked back at the TV and looked at it. I was watching like a documentary about this place while looking at this place on the porch. It was wild. I didn't even know it existed, and I learned about it just then and looked across the road, and there it was, all at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, it is a like pretty creepy looking place. Yeah. And like the one,
yeah, a lot of shit happened.
Yeah,
I think a lot of it has to do with any place where you hear of a lot of people dying. It just makes you eerie. I mean, except in ER, apparently. I mean, you know, people work in ERs all the time. People dying there constantly. But, you know, we don't think anything of that. But take like an old TB hospital that, you know, thousands die and all of a sudden it's haunted. But
it's a good story for anyway.
I think Matt's got a ghost on the corner of his bed there.
Yeah, something going on. I see that.
Oh, right here?
Yeah.
I'd love to be able to tell you it's a ghost, but the fan's just blowing a blanket.
Yeah. I figured you had a fan somewhere. I was like, that thing's blobbing around an awful lot.
Get out of here.
When I was younger, I always liked to, I was like 18, 19 years old, and I'd always like, if I had a date, which was very rare, but when I got one, it's probably why I didn't have any, I would always like get with some buddies and we would take them out and we'd go ghost hunting. We'd just find some old abandoned ass house and like make up a story and wander through the house and, you know, try to freak them out. And that's why I never had dates. That probably among some other things, but that probably got around it. All he did was took me to like Dairy Queen and then took me to this old house and went boogity boo and then tried to leave me. And so we're not going out anymore. So that's some of the shit I did, man. I mean,
yeah.
Just save some money.
I'm sure. I love the whole supernatural idea. I love the whole ghost idea. I think it's very fascinating, and it's cool to like, in theory, I guess, to think about. But it makes just for better entertainment, I think, than anything. Yeah. You know, like these.
You're all into supernatural TV show now, aren't you?
Yeah. Well, I still am, but I have started watching that show called Evil.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Which is really good, and then. Last couple of days, I've just been in documentary mode. I get that way sometimes. I just want to watch documentaries all day.
You guys should watch Preacher.
Yeah.
Read the comic book.
The show is hilarious.
Machine Gun Preacher. Have you watched Machine Gun Preacher?
No.
That's an awesome movie. It's got Gerard Butler in it. It's about this guy. He like kind of like a rough hillbilly. He like shoots heroin and all that, and then he goes to church, gets saved, and decides he wants to do some good in Africa, like where they like in the war-torn Congo. So he goes down there and he builds churches and like playgrounds for kids, and then like a lot of the I guess the militias would come in and try to like, you know, burn down the church and, you know, kill some of the kids. And he ends up like arming up like AKs and stuff, and he like goes and hunts down these militias and rebuilds the churches over and over. It's crazy.
Doesn't sound very godly.
True story. It's based on true story. Like they show the guy that it was wrote after and everything.
That sounds really kind of like the Crusades.
Kind of like a modern crusade. But it's only like one guy, but he works with like the locals to try to keep their, you know, little town safe and all that.
Right.
Village safe.
So the comic and the show Preacher is about a preacher who gets possessed by a demon. I think he gets possessed, but maybe by the devil. But it's some pretty
like high level.
Yeah. And he's still like running his church, and he actually starts helping people, which is kind of funny, but it's an interesting show. It's definitely different. You would like it. It's along a lot of the same veins as Supernatural.
Yeah, definitely. That'd be right up my alley.
Yeah, you dig it. It's good.
Yeah, for sure. So when are we going to go shoot again? We all need to get together and like have a range day.
Yeah,
we can do that. I'm good with that.
That sounds like a fun time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not feeling the enthusiasm.
Well, it's real expensive.
Don't be a pussy.
Maybe something we could film, do something with.
Well, we'll just like, we'll figure it out. I mean, we got a little bit. I didn't say we had to like go blow like 50 billion mags. I was saying like sight stuff in and get some video, and
that's kind of like the fun part about shooting though, is when you go out and just throw a bunch down range, and it's I guess like you get to go shoot, but then when you're sitting there like counting, it's like, all right, there's 20, better stop.
That does suck.
Yeah.
Nowadays, every time you load like a round in a magazine, you can just, it's a buck. There's another $1, another $1. So not as fun anymore. It's not as fun to shoot anymore.
That 223 costs like what 308 cost.
Yeah.
Before everything. I mean, you're like dollar. I mean, every time you pull that trigger, there goes $1. But, so, 22 you can get by a little cheaper, and 9 a little cheaper. Not much. 9's almost $1 around now too. It just depends on where you get it, and hopefully they get manufacturing up working a lot better and can start pumping this out to meet the demand.
So before we get ready to wrap up, we're recording early because you guys are leaving for the weekend, for a few days. You're leaving tomorrow, Saturday, right?
Yes.
Yeah. In a few hours, actually.
Okay. So
a few hours, just a few wee hours, Matt.
Yeah, just a fewish hours.
So this weekend, I guess we'll talk.
5-ish.
We'll talk about a couple UFC fights before they happen, and if they're good enough, maybe we go back to them next week. And then
what's on the card?
We'll close this one off a little bit early since you guys have to take off. So the two main fights that I think, the two only fights that I think are really exciting are the main event, Dominic Reyes, and this is one I don't know how to say, Mitch.
Oh, sweet.
Jiri Prochaska?
I don't know
who that is.
I do well to say Dominic Reyes. So
apparently he's number 5 and is on a main event, and I don't know who the fuck he is.
I've never heard of him.
I like Dominic Reyes though.
Is there one with Adesanya coming up?
Sometime soon. I'll see when that one is here in a minute. It's not tomorrow though.
Like June 26th or something.
I thought I was on the ball. Like, I know this card, but no, I'm still a rookie.
This must be.
I'll get there, guys.
Let me see where this one's at.
All right.
It's at the Apex. Okay, so and then the co-main is Cub Swanson versus Giga Chikadze.
I don't know. I won't watch any of this. I can't pronounce anybody's name. I don't know.
Well, Cub Swanson and Dominic Reyes are really cool. I like both of those guys. That's probably who I'd pick to win. The rest, you've got Ian Cutie Laba. He's fairly known. And then a bunch of people that not many people care about. So we're not missing a whole lot this weekend unless it just ends up being really good. Then we can revisit that. What are you guys going to Tennessee for?
Just getting away, I think, man. It's just been a wild year. Been a lot going on this year, so I think it just needed to get away.
Yeah, we haven't been on an adults friends vacation ever.
I've never been on vacation just like another couple, some buddies or anything. I've always just been with like either my significant other, like my family. So to get away with like no kids and like no family, just what family they are, no like grandparents, step parents, fathers, mothers, any of that shit,
Yeah.
And I'm also going to probably do a little bit. So last time I went to Tennessee was in November. I took my mom with me. It was my mom and my wife. We all three went. And as we came back, my mom made a comment that when she passed away, she wanted her ashes spread in Tennessee because she loves it so much. And you kind of laugh and blow that stuff off. And then 3 months later, my mom passes away. So I thought it only right that I maybe take some ashes with me and spread some ashes on her, for her while we're down there. So
yeah.
But basically, I think just to relax, man, just to get away for a while. It's just
Cumberland Gap's beautiful.
So why does everybody like Tennessee so much? I know Matt just got back from Tennessee not too long ago.
Dude, the older I get, the more I like it. It's more laid back.
Mm-hmm.
Like before, I liked Vegas. I love going to Vegas. I like going to the beach, and I still like the beach and stuff. But I don't know, man. It's like Matt was gonna say. It's very close. So you're talking 4.5 hours away or some shit, and you're there, and it's peaceful and relaxing, and you still get like a bit of touristy, and you still get a bit of like just out kind of by yourself if you want to be. And I don't know, man. It's just for me, it's just a nice, relaxing time and easy to get away.
See, I'm a little. Oh, go on.
It's not like so much culture shock either, because I mean it's so close to where we are. It's still like Appalachian heritage, so the people you run into down there have a lot in common with you up here. So it's got a homey sense, but yet it's also real new. Like it's different but the same all at the same time, and it is kind of nice.
See, I've always kind of been the opposite. When we go to the beach, like Matt and Mary went with us one time, and we got a beach house, and I just didn't really like being in the beach house. When I go anywhere, I like to go where there's going to be things. So like when I go to the beach, I actually like to stay on the boardwalk, so I can just go out and walk and do things. So it's I don't know. I like to go places where there's a lot to do.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's a lot to do in Tennessee too. I think it does. I think shut down a little bit earlier than most of your other vacation spots. But yeah, I mean, I love going to like Vegas and it just being an all night thing. There's always something to do, or going like you said to the boardwalk on the beach or something. But there's something about Tennessee, man. It's just kind of just a relax and get away that is a little different than those places. So like if you're not in the mood or not up to be like crazy and spend a lot of cash and do a lot of crazy stuff, I think it's definitely the place to go. So
yeah.
I don't know. I'll look into it.
Like the outdoors is something I've been kind of getting into as I gotten older.
Mm-hmm.
And like if there's this place called Cades Cove that you can visit, it's in the Smoky Mountains up there, and it's like this big giant loop up in the mountains, and you can get out, and they even got trails, and you can see like black bears like just walk right up, and like you can actually see them.
You know what else is out there?
There's snakes.
There's snakes.
Yeah. I know. I was hoping the bears eat them.
Hoping the bears
I deal
eat
with
the
that
snakes.
bear before I deal with the snake.
So you killed a snake.
Snakes.
Well, yesterday?
Yeah. Yes, it was on my porch, the old bastard.
You ever figure out what it was? It did kind of look like a copperhead.
I think it's a rat snake. I think like after looking at it, I'm pretty sure it was a rat snake.
Yeah.
But, it was on my porch. I couldn't let that happen. If he wanted to be a rat snake out in the woods, that's fine. But once you cross that threshold, you gotta get got.
But you could have grabbed it and took it to the woods and let it go.
You could have slapped it with a stick and just knocked it off your porch.
Like after it was dead, I got a shovel and was kind of like scooping it, and I couldn't get it all on there, so I grabbed a wooden pallet to kind of like scrape it on there, like I was scraping noodles off a plate to make sure it was all on the shovel, and then carried it by the shovel like way out here away from me, so in case it was like a Jesus snake and resurrected from the dead and tried to come at me, it would be out here.
He's like turning his head and crying. Like, he's like, no.
Took it off the property and then just slung that motherfucker. And I hate them, man. Always have.
I was telling you earlier, the first time I ever saw that Matt was afraid of snakes. we were skating, and in Olive Hill, there's, you know, Tiger Creek is there. You go, there's the bridge, Tiger Bridge, that goes across it. And the water at the time was maybe 25, 30 feet below the bridge. And we were skating across, and Matt just stops in the middle of the bridge, and he's like looking over the rail, and he's pointing, and he's like, fucking snake, fucking snake. And I get up to him, and I look over, and there's a snake like in the middle of the fucking creek, man, like just chilling there in the water, and we're 25, 30 feet above it, and he's like flipping shit because there's a snake down there. And then after that, whenever we would be driving and there's like a dead snake that somebody hit in the road, he would flip shit then too. You'd see him, we would drive over it, and he would be like, that's
a legit phobia, I think. I don't think that's a fear, it's a phobia.
I hate them. But I mean, now it's not so much that I'm afraid of them once I see them. I'm afraid of like one getting the best of me, like one striking me when I'm not looking. Like kind of like a fear of the unknown in a way. Like once I see them, I have eyes on them. I'm like, all right, I got you, motherfucker. And then I go find an item to take care of the issue. I prefer a 12 gauge, but I traded it like a goon dick and don't have a 12 gauge, so I had to get a lot closer this time.
You know, in some cases,
Mary wouldn't have liked me blowing a hole through the porch, but I'll replace that wood.
In some cases, copperheads and water moccasins will actually chase you until you leave whatever their territory is.
Right.
Oh, I know. God.
But no, we had a friend that got bit by a copperhead, right?
Yeah.
At Grayson Lake.
Yeah. Like, it was a water moccasin, wasn't it?
I thought.
Didn't he like jump into a pit? Like,
no.
The water?
They were walking up the hill after cliff jumping, and he got bit by a copperhead. They had to keep him in the hospital. I remember because they had to keep him in the hospital for like 5 days or something to monitor his heart. Because even after they gave him the antivenin, they said that his heart could just like randomly stop for like 2 or 3 days.
Yeah. They use what they call it, a hemorrhagic venom. Did I pronounce that right, Mitch?
I'll be honest, I don't know. Like I think so.
Venom that makes you hemorrhage. Is that hemorrhagic?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So whenever they bite you, they thin your blood a lot to where like you can internally bleed. So a lot of times they'll give you things to counteract that blood thinning.
Mm-hmm.
But in extreme situations like his, they'll do antivenom. But a lot of times with the copperhead bites, they just try to counter the blood thinning type that the venom causes.
Yeah, they said the venom had went through his heart pretty good, so they were watching him. For a few days. Yeah, that was interesting. So Matt, probably still very afraid of snakes. He just doesn't want to sound like a pussy.
I hate them.
It happens.
They do freak me out. Even when I had it pinned under a shovel, like its neck was like, and for some reason I don't know why I was standing there. I had the shovel on it. My left leg would tremble like this. I had no clue why. I mean, I had it pinned. It could not get me, but that leg was just going ape shit. It would not stop trembling.
I'll end on this.
I can't be a pussy in front of my kids. So
just to give Matt nightmares. So me and my brother were hanging out at my dad's house when we were kids, and there was this kind of downstairs area. You would go up like 3 stairs into the kitchen and then the living room. There's a doorway when you came up those 3 stairs, and we were coming up at one evening, and I noticed that there was like, you know, that rubber tubing that people use to like seal doors.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, well, that's new. That wasn't there before. And then I looked at the rubber tubing and it looked like it was pulsing. And I was like, that's not right. So I follow the rubber tubing up to the top, and then I see the head like this.
Oh God.
And it's like here. It's like right here. I'm looking. And it's fucking. I think it was a black snake, but it was like 2 inches away from my face and climbing up the door facing, and dad got it and he killed it.
Shit.
If I had known what I know now, I probably wouldn't have killed it. But it was pretty scary, man. It was like right beside my face, and I'm like, oh, that's moving. I don't think it's supposed to be moving.
Yeah. Rubber usually doesn't move.
So that's
I would shit. Like, oh man, I hate it. I hate when they sneak up on me and scare the crap out of me. It's that what they call it, genetic memory. Like, have you seen some of those it just shows you clips of different animals like really, really fast, and you can pick out every time it shows a snake or a spider. Like, it'll show you like monkeys, fish, a bunch of harmless stuff, but the two things you remember from it is snake and spider.
It's just ingrained.
And it'll just flash it just like this.
It's ingrained in our DNA. Danger noodle.
Yeah. Exactly. It's wild though, like how that just passes down from like our ancestors, like, snake, spider bad. Like
But yeah, we'll call it that. Let you guys get ready for your trip.
Yeah,
a good time, man. Awesome. I'm looking forward to it. I'm ready to go. I need a break.
Yeah, I hope you guys have fun.
We'll have a good time.
Thank you. Oh, and all of our shit, the
social media.
Social media. Yeah,
yeah. So TikTok, Mitch and Matt. YouTube, the Mitch and Matt. Facebook, it's pretty well all Mitch and Matt or the Mitch and Matt. You just search for us and you'll find it.
It's on everything. We appreciate everybody checking us out. Seems to be going good. We're close to 10,000. We're making a last steady push for that. So we appreciate everybody's time and people downloading and watching and listening and all that good jazz. As always, we ask you guys leave us a review and a rating on Apple Podcasts if you get a chance. Make sure you click the like and subscribe button on YouTube. Share it with your friends, your family. Let everybody know. We appreciate it, boys.
Yeah. Thanks for hanging out.